Well, hello, Internet. Today we're going to talk about pocket hunting knives, namely the Taggedout. Ba-dum-bum. I don't know. I'm horrible at this shit.
That works.
Yeah.
And that's when it drops.
Right. You might wonder why we have buck 110s on the table. Well, because we rooted through the shop, and basically the closest thing we could come up with that would compare with these Taggedout's
As a hunting knife.
is as a pocket hunting knife, and it just so happens they're the same color. So, but this is the new Taggedout from Benchmade with G10 instead of Grivery. It has the relief lanyard hole like the
535-3.
exactly bailout does. They have moved it over to the thumb stud as opposed to the relief cut there.
I like the relief cut though. That made it unique.
I gotta be honest. I very much like the thumb stud better.
I'm gonna argue that.
Really?
Do you think people cried about the new design? They're like, no, I like the thumb stud. Is that why they made the new one like that?
If you want to flick it out, I just think it's just so much easier with the thumb stud.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that?
It's a more familiar.
With Benchmade's, I don't use the thumb stud on them anyway.
Oh, you just.
I run the axis lock
Just
down
run the
and
axis
then
and sling it.
Flick it.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
You know, and the biggest problem that I have, honestly, with the thumb stud
That one needs to work on a little bit.
and these are another good example. You're in a piece of game, you're cutting up, and that thumb stud gets caught on.
You did bring that up. I will
That's
say.
the only thing. That and also the grind bevel on this one is not as flat and full as what's on the
Is it a little
hole.
thicker? I think I was looking the other day and noticed they were
I
different.
think the blade thickness
Or am I
is the
just
same.
crazy?
Well, if it is, I imagine it
I
would
think
be.
it's probably fatter right here.
Yes,
right?
it definitely
That's
is.
what I
You
was
can tell
noticing.
just by picking it up. And also, this has a flat on the blade, whereas the grind goes all the way up.
Yeah.
So the geometry on this is definitely preferable. I will say that.
Yeah.
I mean,
This will be a
especially to.
slicer.
It's way more preferable than. I mean, this is just a hollow grind. You know, it's been around for God knows how long. Nobody really does hollow grind anymore unless they're like a custom maker. But I really like. I mean, if they sold this with an orange Cerakote blade, I would really want one.
In the works, apparently.
Yeah,
Yep,
is
that's
it?
the carbon fiber that's coming out.
But it's S45. I'm a fan.
Yep.
I think S45 is a fantastic steel. I've had great experience with it.
Well, and that's the biggest upgrade over this, you know, from this to this
Mm-hmm.
is the S45 compared to the 154 CPM 154. Good steel, nothing wrong with it. It'll be field sharpenable. You're in the field and you can get an edge back on it real quick and easy.
Yeah.
That'll hold longer.
Well, the problem with S45 and G10 is this puts this squarely in the neighborhood of a paramilitary 2, even given the size. And the
About the same price? then?
paramilitary 2 is quite cheaper. Paramilitary 2 is, the S45 ones are what, low 2s? And this is 280.
Yeah.
So
I think they're like 208, 210.
for the PM2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we just bought hundreds of them, we should know, but...
They're just numbers anymore. It doesn't matter.
But
We
now...
got Bill Gates pricing on knives.
Oh yeah. Now this competing with the PM2 makes this a whole different ballgame for this knife. The fact that they did some nice details with the back spacer and with the relief cut in the G10, stylistically is obviously much more involved, and I think overall looks like it's got more effort into it than a PM2, which PM2 is just a slab side with some liners. There's nothing new about the PM2 design. But being that it's the same steel, you got to decide, are those stylistic choices worth, you know, $70 to you?
I think for hunting purposes, the original Taggedout is much better.
Maybe it's kind of
Inexpensive.
like this is lightweight, so when you actually are going hunting, and the geometry of the blade and everything, and the lack of thumb stud, it is most ideal for your hunting situation. But you're also like, I really like it, and I kind of want one for my everyday use that's maybe a little bit more for EDC, so again, that thumb stud for better popping, a little bit more contoured on the grip, extra flash so it looks cool.
This does lean way heavier on the EDC.
Yeah, and this is just like perfect for a pocket.
But I mean, honestly,
skinner.
you know, carrying this, I would I love this knife. I think it's a great design. I think they really hit it out of the park for a hunting knife. But I'm not really going to take it hunting per se. I'm going to EDC it. And that was what sold me on it, was the thinness of the blade stock and that high flat grind. You know, the edge geometry on that will be phenomenal.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. And I think because this follows in line with exactly what they did with the bug out and the bailout. You come out with the thin, bare bones version first, and then as it sells, you start to dress it up a little bit, and then you get into these, which worked on me. I mean, obviously, I just had my bailout, and it's the upgraded bailout. I went ahead and got the one with the aluminum scales and the upgraded variation of. But I had the original one too, and I did like it. But then when I saw the new one come, come out, I had to get one of those.
So I mean, the other thing, you know, like the bailout, the bug out, the shootout, the tagged out. You know, is this all basically the same kind of thing where they have the style on the side folders, at least the small, you know, the actual footprint of the knife's, what is it, mechanism?
The liners.
The liners are
they're
an
partial.
abbreviated
They're
liners.
partial liners, yeah.
And then the FRN and or G10.
But
or
this
carbon
is
fiber.
this is the same way. This is the partial liners that come to about here. Anything that's got that middle screw, it's because that's where the liners end.
into.
So the thing that confuses me is that with injection molding, especially with high fiber reinforced plastic, where you've got like a very high concentration of like glass fibers in it, like almost like Corvette side panel amount of fibers in it, which is what grivery is supposed to be. It's really hard on molds, and my understanding of the manufacturing process is that this grivery scale is not exactly cheaper than milling out G10. As far as wear and tear on the molds, the process, everything involved.
Well, yeah, because the molds are going to cost you a couple $100,000.
And the people who make the molds, fucking phenomenal. They make bank.
Yes.
So like, the cost on the scale should be negligible. The only huge upgrade should be the steel. But again, my understanding is CPM 154 is almost the same price as S45 as far as the raw stock is concerned.
I guess it depends on your relationship with Niagara and or Crucible.
They're probably going direct to Crucible for these kind of...
Yeah, well, of course they are.
Yeah, of course
well, yeah, but the thing is, like, we don't use, up until this point, we don't use Crucible steels because it almost doubles the price of the steel by the time we can get it to Alaska. Whereas Bowler is in Seattle. Yeah. And it does not add that much.
I guess what I'm trying to point out is, like, the Taggedout was something different and unique for their lineup, which I really enjoyed because it was something different. They were doing something new. And then they just made another bailout.
No, I wouldn't say bailout. This almost reminds me of
It's a Griptilian with a clip point.
No. It's
a little bit Crooked River.
It's the carbon fiber 535-3. It's the fancy bug outs.
Yeah.
I would compare it more to that. I would not compare it to the bailout that I have with the aluminum scales. This would be the carbon fiber and blue accent bailout version, which this is technically cheaper than it. It's not much cheaper. It's about $12 cheaper, but it is also a bigger knife.
It feels very much like brand engineering. Like, this is Mitsubishi and this is GM. You know?
I would have gone like Toyota Lexus or like
I would have
Acura
gone more
or
of the
something.
Mitsubishi, 3000, Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4.
It's the same car.
Same car.
Same car, but one of them I want, and one of them I don't want. Yeah, one of them I don't want.
One has 2 additional letters on it.
I mean, I really like what they've done with this. My only thing is, this would be an absolute sell for me if it wasn't a thumb stud.
Really?
They had done it with the cutout like on the original, which is why I'm waiting with bated breath for the carbon fiber Magna Cut.
See, I almost want to Spidey open this. You know what I mean? Instead of flicking it. No, not necessarily. But
that looks badass. Why would you want to do that?
Well, because it's unorthodox when you're holding a Benchmade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Benchmade for 20 years has been axis lock, flick out with a thumb stud.
I
Can't Spidey flick it?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Alistair can.
There we go.
There you go.
No, Lesser Alistair over here can Spidey flick it too.
But I mean, that's how I open most Benchmades.
Yeah.
God, that's how Ryan opens every night.
Well, I mean, overall, I would give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
I like the look of it. I like the design. I like the materials. It feels better in the hand.
Yes.
This does feel a little cheap. I understand it's going to feel that way because it's intentionally made to be as lightweight and bare bones as possible. I get it. But this just feels like, to your point, this feels like an EDC. This feels like, I don't know, I'll throw it in my bag and maybe I'll use it. And if I do need to use it, it's capable.
Yep.
But I'm not putting this in my pocket every day.
No. This you could fit in your pocket each day.
Yeah. I mean, it's think of it as a upgraded steel, lightweight version of the Crooked River.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost got that same kind of design profile. Wonder if we could make ivory scales for one of them.
I like the original more.
Good.
All right, so Dakota votes for the original. I don't have a problem. I'll give the new one a thumbs up. I do like it.
I like it.
It is a touch pricey for me, but I do like it.
I say I like it overall. The original is more unique. It's more purpose specific. This is more EDC optional. This is more classic Benchmade of what we all know with the action
Kind of
and stuff.
falls in line with everything else.
I like that they went in a unique direction with this and took a little chance and all that kind of stuff. So I like them both.
It is.
I think they offer different pluses and minuses or whatever, but it gives options. You know, everybody likes something different.
This is a cool departure from what they normally do. I will give it to them for trying something different. And like I said, I wouldn't everyday carry it, but I don't dislike this knife.
No, I like the whole Out series. You know, but I like it. That new one, Balls Out for nudists.
All right, I think we're done now.
On that high note, like, comment, subscribe. If you hate us, let us know. If you love us, let us know. See you on the flip side.
My name's Chad.
My name's Chad.